And when you're there, like, I gotta go to the bathroom. That's not the best place. But you know what?
I
It was better
understand.
than where they grew up. And my mom was a prison guard. My dad was a waiter on weekends, family court probation officer during the week. So, you know, it that's the story of immigrants. I I don't care where people come from. I don't. Come in legally. Go through the process. Now, we need to vet you. We need to know you don't have radical associations.
Yes.
After in a post-COVID world, I want a health check.
Yep.
And I want to know you're not going to be a financial burden on the American people because we already have $37 trillion in debt and we can't afford to take care of you. That means you provide for your own health care. You show you have the means of taking care of yourself. Then welcome to America. You're part of our family. And I mean that. I don't care where you come from.
How do you get there though? Because we've talked about this kind of reform. Like, okay, how do you get more judges to the border to adjudicate more cases? How does that happen? And then I would also say, shifting over to why, well, let's start with that. How does that happen, Sean? Is the plan stop the flow, which he's done, get the people that don't belong here out of here and living off the dole, so to speak, people who can barely make ends meet for themselves, having to utilize their tax dollars to make ends meet for people that can't pay into the system because they're not legally here. Okay. Does Trump have a plan for that? I think that for some reason, nobody's even touching upon the issue of legal immigration. So it just becomes, he's a monster. He's Hitler, which we've heard so many times. He's authoritarian and he doesn't even care about people. He has no empathy for these people. Does he have a plan to say, all right, it's a 1, 2, 3 process?
Well, first of all, you keep saying that your liberal friends,
Yeah.
um, they keep bringing up the words due process. I have something you can throw at them. Did Lake and Riley have due process?
I saw that.
Did Rachel Martin have due process? Jocelyn Nungary was a 12-year-old girl. I've interviewed her mother. I've interviewed her grandfather. I can tell you, having spoken to Patty Moore and Rachel's mom, Lake and Riley's family, I never interviewed them. I just called to offer condolences. And I was aware that they liked my show. And I said, I'm not calling for an interview. I'm calling to offer my condolences. And Alexis Nungary, Jocelyn, that little girl, I believe 12 years old, was brutally. She bit them. She scratched them. She fought back with the might of a little girl.
Yeah.
Was and thrown in the river. Now, I'm sorry, she didn't have due process, and her life was ripped away, and her parents and her mother and grandfather will never be the same again. Patty Moore will never be the same again. Lake and Riley's families, they'll never be the same.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.